Guys, I'm Isaac Shepard, and this is my TCL Synthesis Project. And my first text is El Otro Mexico by Los Tigres del Norte. And one of the key concepts that they discuss in this song is borderlands. And essentially, they talk about their experience of living and working in the United States, which is in the borderlands of the United States, borderlands between like Mexico and the United States. And they talk about how they're almost like they have this identity of being like a hybrid, like they they work in the United States, however, they're still Mexican and they like, for example, in the text dicen que a muchos años que me vine de mojado, mis costumbres no han cambiado ni mi nacionalidad, which is essentially they're like holding on to their Mexican culture, their nationality, their customs and their culture. They haven't changed at all, even though they're living in the United States. The title of the song, El Otro Mexico, essentially in the borderlands they're building home away from home, the concept of that, they're building el otro Mexico, another Mexico here in the United States with their cultures. And you find that the people in these borderlands, they don't conform to like one specific identity. They're complex, they're well-rounded, and like they hold on to like their Mexican culture, but they might incorporate some things from the United States. They're not just a worker, they're just a complex person, a family person, and yeah, and I actually really like this song. I listened to it uh many times after hearing it in class, and I've it's led me to other songs similar to this and other Spanish songs in general. And I'm using it, to help me learn Spanish, because that's one of my goals actually right now. So it would be learn Spanish and become more fluent in it. And um you know, I think listening to it helps me learn the language and also just the ideas that it talks in it. And I would recommend it to anyone else um, that just doesn't have like that wants to know more about like Mexican culture and like their experiences in the United States and immigrating here. People that live in the borderlands, because I know a lot of people personally, like family members and friends, that I think have a misconception about a lot of Mexicans and their experiences, and I think this could like help them come to a better understanding of how they actually are. And so that leads me to my next text, which is The Crossover King by John Leguizamo. And I really like this one. It's pretty funny. It's a comedy sketch in which Leguizamo portrays a professor um, who holds a seminar that teaches Mexicans slash Latinos to become Japanese. And the concept that it discusses in this primarily is identity or stereotypes. And essentially, like it builds on this idea that Mexicans, like there's this stereotype that Mexicans are dirty, they're workers, or they're felons, they're narcos, or they're maids, they're like below us. They're like they're looked down upon a lot by a lot of Americans in our society, sadly. And but then on the other hand, there's these Japanese people. So like instead of being Mexican, you should try to be like Japanese, because they go to school, they're clean cut, they wear like suit and ties, they graduate, they become like lawyers and doctors and stuff. And so instead of trying to be like forfeit your Mexican culture to become Japanese. And it's he's done it in a comedic way, and it's pretty funny, but it's satire, and I appreciate that. But it's a satire of the sad truth that a lot of Latinos and Mexicans in America, they have to like forfeit their culture or like their identity just to kind of like survive, or get ahead, or just like not get deported. And it's really sad, and I think he does it he it's a satire, and he portrays this issue in a very effective way. And I I would I would recommend this to to my siblings actually because they really appreciate good like humor and satire. And also I figured out that John Leguizamo is actually Sid from the Ice Age. And that's like one of our favorite childhood movies. And so I could be I could just be like, hey, there's this sketch by you remember Sid from Ice Age? Yeah, the actor. He did a sketch. He's really funny, you know, and I think that we could really appreciate that, and they could learn about like this issue that's very prominent. Um, and then so then there's my last text. It's La Ofrenda, The Days of the Dead by Lourdes Portillo. And it's a film. It feels like a documentary almost. It's a short film that discusses the traditions of La Ofrenda and Dia de los Muertos. And it discusses topics, you know, Mary's topics, essentially just the whole tradition of Dia de los Muertos, specifically the La Ofrenda. And but one of the topics that stood out to me specifically was Dia de los Muertos, and or family, sorry. And then so essentially, Dia de los Muertos is the day when you come together as a family to celebrate the past ancestors that's passed away, and they specifically they make the ofrendas, and they just have like some of their favorite things, foods, pictures of them, you know, memories, flowers, etc. And I just think it's very beautiful, and it has a beautiful meaning. Like a lot of people think that death is sad, and it is sad, but it doesn't have to be all sad. You know, you can remember the good things that they did in their life. You know, the good things that they done for you and your family. You know, like the impact they had on you. You remember that, and I would recommend it to my mom because she has lost both of her parents, and I think that like she could learn a lot from it. Like you know, like death doesn't have to be sad. You know, you can remember the good things about their lives, and you know, like you remember the impact that they had on you, and you can just cherish like their memories, and you know, I think it'd just be really good for her. And yeah, so that's my synthesis project. Thank you.